All right, today we're tackling the high stakes world of mega projects. The huge, complex undertakings that shape our world. We're going to be pulling some game changing ideas from the book, The Strategic Management of Large Engineering Projects by Roger Miller and Donald Lessard. Let's get into it. Just look around. We are surrounded by these incredible feats of engineering, right? Power plants, massive bridges, entire transport systems. They literally build the world we live in. But, and this is the crazy part, a huge number of these projects are doomed for failure before a single shovel even touches the dirt. And that brings us to, well, the billion-dollar question. Actually, let's be real, it's often a trillion-dollar question that I'm sure keeps project sponsors and managers staring at the ceiling all night.
So what is going on here? Why do so many of these huge, expensive, and totally critical projects just fail? I mean, they go way over budget, they fall hopelessly behind schedule, or sometimes they don't even do the thing they were supposed to do in the first place.
So what's the first thing you think of? The natural instinct, right, is to blame the folks on the ground, the execution, the actual building part. But the research in this book is just groundbreaking because it points to something completely different, something much, much deeper.
Okay, so this is the absolute core of the whole thing. The common myth is that it's all about execution. You blame bad engineering, poor on-site management, that kind of stuff. But the hidden reality, the failure is all about strategy. It's not a failure of doing, it's a failure of thinking. The real mistakes happen way, way before construction starts, in what the authors call the front-end shaping period. And this quote from Miller and Lessard just nails it. They say the front-end engineering of institutional arrangements is a far greater determinant of success than the actual project engineering. Think about that. It means the seeds of success or failure are planted in boardrooms and during negotiations, not on the construction site. It's the soft stuff, the strategy, the alliances, that's actually the hard stuff. Okay, so if this front end is where the magic happens, how in the world do you get it right? Well, the book lays out this really cool roadmap. It's called The Decision Journey, and it's what every single successful project has to go through. And it's not like you just make one big decision and you're done. No way. It's a journey in 3 acts. Act 1 is the search. This is the shaping period. It's long, it's messy, it's turbulent. Then you hit Act 2, the sprint. This is the building period. All focus is on speed and execution. And finally, Act 3, the ramp up. This is the moment of truth, the ultimate reality test for all your assumptions. Now, if you remember one thing about this journey, make it this. That search phase is everything. It is literally where the game is won or lost. Everything that happens later on, good or bad, is a direct result of what you did or didn't do right here at the very beginning. So how do you navigate that tricky search phase? Well, the most successful project sponsors, they don't create some rigid 100-page plan that's set in stone. Instead, they built something much more powerful. A flexible, strategic system. It's designed from the ground up to deal with the chaos and uncertainty you just know is coming. A huge part of this system starts with something called risk mapping. And the idea here is it's simple, but it's so profound. You can't just look at risk as this one big, scary cloud hanging over your project. That's useless. You have to unbundle it. You got to pull it apart into its individual pieces. Market risk, technical risk, financial risk, institutional risk. And only then can you come up with a real strategy to tackle each one. But here's the really crucial part. These risks aren't just sitting there in their own little boxes. Oh no, they are all connected. It's like a chain reaction, right? One little problem over here can easily trigger a total disaster somewhere else. Let me walk you through this incredible real-world example from the book. So, boom, a financial crisis hits. The project suddenly can't borrow money. That's a huge financial risk. This forces them to find a new joint venture partner. But to do that, they need the government to change some regulations to protect property rights. That's an institutional risk. But watch this. Once they get that sorted, the new partnership actually helps lower construction costs and it reduces their market risk because the partners agree to buy what the project produces. It's amazing. One crisis, when they handled it strategically, actually made the whole project stronger. Okay, so you can plan for some risks, but what about the stuff that comes completely out of left field? The risks you can't possibly anticipate. That's where you need to build in something the authors call governability. I love this concept. It's basically the project's ability to take a punch. It's about building a system that can absorb a huge, unexpected shock, adapt on the fly, and not completely fall apart. It can get knocked down, but it gets back up. So, When you put all this together, right, the focus on the front end, the unbundling of risk, this idea of governability, it all points to a massive, fundamental shift in how we need to think about these giant projects.
It's really about a whole new mindset. The old way of thinking was about playing the game. You try to pick the best project from a list, you follow a fixed plan, and you just sort of react to whatever the future throws at you. The new mindset is about architecting the game. It's not about reacting, it's about shaping. You shape the project over time, you nurture it, you build the right alliances. You are actively shaping the future to make your project a success.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Successful projects are not selected but shaped. They're shaped over time by sponsors who are persistent. It's not about finding a diamond in the rough. It's about taking a piece of carbon and through immense pressure and persistence, turning it into a diamond.
So, this all leaves us with one last really critical question for you to think about. For your next big project, your next big idea, is it designed to just follow a script? Is it based on the fragile hope that everything will go according to plan? Or is it designed to shape the story? Have you built a system that's robust enough not just to react to the future, but to create its own success? Because that, right there, is the difference between a project that fails and one that builds a legacy.